Hello everyone, and welcome to the latest whisperings and stirrings, the rumour mill churning, the conjecture, the theory, the curiosity is burning over the next Overwatch hero, and I am excited to see how this one develops, because obviously Sombra was, let's just say, in-depth and took a while, and let's just say that irritated certain members of the community, because let's be honest, I feel like after the months and months of build-up, there was nothing she could be that could live up to the hype, and Blizzard have acknowledged that, so I'm hoping that this time, this build-up to the next hero is a lot quicker, a lot more open, but even more exciting, and it all began with an in-universe interview with Effie Oladelli. Oladelli? I feel like Oladelli because it's fun to say, but normally everything I try and do is wrong, so that's probably incorrect. Either way, this is set with her winning a prize in Numbani, known as the Genius Grant, because she is an 11-year-old's robotics genius, a prodigy amongst all of her peers. She has got a real talent for it. She's African, she's got, honestly, quite an awesome design. However, before we get anywhere further than this, she herself is not going to be running around maps and shooting people with robot things, or commanding robots to sick them, alright? Although, that would be sick, I don't think that Blizzard is gonna have you gunning down an 11-year-old girl, but I do think, and many people do, and it just makes a lot of sense, that she's obviously going to be directly tied to the next hero, and the logical step for that is she be building it, and yeah, I'm kind of on board with that. It does make a lot of sense. And a big argument for this is she does say she wants to build stuff to help people, and she names the OR-15s as an example. And we know what an OR-15 is, because it's a defense bot that has been confirmed destroyed in a mysterious attack on Numbani Airport. This has happened very, very recently, and this, I think, supports a lot of what I'm going to say later in the video, because obviously if these OR-15s are being destroyed, then there is some, air quotes, enemy force operating in Numbani, and, you know, when someone thinks of an enemy force in Overwatch, something does come to mind. But I do think there's also compelling evidence for a brand new Talon agent being the new hero, but that's kind of a side theory that we will talk about a little bit later on in this. But I do think that most people are missing one key detail in this article that to me alludes to the type of hero that she might be, and honestly has the potential to be something quite dark. But before we get to that, well, we've got to get to that, so let's start at the beginning. The first thing that I am drawn to is a leak that happened long ago on 4chan that claimed to predict and know what's going to happen this year in Overwatch. It predicted the New Year event with Year of the Rooster and skins and the May one. It also thinks there's going to be a new origin story video for May. But the key thing and the most curious thing is Ancora. Now, this is a name that's surfacing a lot recently because people are desperately trying to draw connections to just literally everything to try and connect dots that probably aren't there in order to guess what's going on. The fire of theory in the Overwatch world burns brightly, all-consuming, and somewhat chaotically, so let's not go crazy here. So, they think that the next hero is not actually going to be Doomfist, which it's not. Blizzard have confirmed that it's not. They think it's going to be someone called Ancora, a Reinhardt-esque anchor tank, Anchor Ancora, that you can really pick and center your team around as a rock. And they say that they're going to hail from Numbani and have a West African accent. So, if we look at this, it's going to be a Omnic, and it's going to be from Numbani with an African accent. So then we get ourselves a robotics genius from Numbani with an African accent because she's African, and, you know, people have drawn a line. But I can't help but feel that that's a little bit too neat, because a lot of people are taking the Ancora as a sort of spider route. And that's because it says it's a quadruped, tanky type character, i.e. a spider tank. Though, of course, we'll ignore the fact that something with 4 legs is not in fact a spider, but, you know, the core here is insecty vibes, and granted, insecty vibes are definitely something that is present in Overwatch. You do see lots of four-legged, spidery, buggy type tanks with quite heavy weaponry in various places. There's some in the museum in the very first cinematic, there is dead and rusted ones on Eichenwald, there is one in some very early artwork for Overwatch. Jeff was doing a talk on it recently, and in the middle you see this lady with 4 legs instead of where her arms are firing a laser out her mouth. How that would ever translate into an Overwatch hero I don't know, but he did confirm that she is not the next hero.
And I need to say this for our subreddit so it doesn't implode. No, the hero in the center is not the hero who you think it is.
Which I think makes total sense, because let's be honest, we are trying to connect too many non-connected things here in our desperation to guess the hero. That does not look like anything that would be to do with this interview girl, and the interview girl has to be central to it, otherwise it's pointless that they released it. And yes, she does look like someone that could be called Ancora, but the description of Ancora does not really match her, so we just need to forget about her. And interestingly enough, she is actually present on some concept art for Overwatch, which looks a lot darker than the characters ended up, but more interestingly than that, on the right of that picture, we do see a, well, air quotes, spidery tank type thing, but a lot of people have ended there with, yeah, we're probably gonna get a insecty-like tank hero built by Effie, and jobs are good, and I don't think that's satisfying enough. I think we've gotta go deeper. No one should ever say we've got to go deeper and then laugh like that. Not by yourself, not in public, and certainly not at a bar predated by Hey Baby. Either way, I think that it's not really going to be a insecty tank at all, and the reason for that is quite simply, we just need to look at previous Overwatch character design. What does every single character have in common? This might sound stupid, but the answer is a lot of character. They all are very emotive, they're very distinct, they're over the top, but they're charming and fun in their own ways, even Mr. Edgelordy over there. And we have ourselves a emotive, animated robot character in Bastion. He doesn't speak, but the way that he moves, the way that he beeps, is very lifelike. It gives him a little bit more being than he otherwise would as a walking deathbot. So this leaves us with two choices if we are getting a insecty tanky hero built by Effie. It either is a full-on, straight, I will kill you following orders, I am just robot, which is kinda dull, or it also has personality and is animated and beeps, but then again that takes away from the uniqueness of Bastion. Yes, the hidden third option is that it is a drone created by Effie that she is piloting, so her voice comes out of it, which would give it the accent, it would give it the personality, and that I could see being kinda nice, but I think that's the very neat way of doing it, somewhat the obvious way, because, you know, she just built a drone and she's piloting it, but why would she be doing that? Why is this 11-year-old girl that has got this award that just wants to learn about robotics and make the world a better place suddenly building a robot and fighting battles? We need to connect that bridge. So, one thing that she does say is she wants to build stuff that makes the world a better place. She builds robots to help with chores. She wants to do the ultimate extension of that, which instantly goes to build something hyper-military that is designed to keep peace but is abused and made into a totalitarian enforcer. But what if somebody forced her to create this incredibly powerful robotic weapon, mass-produce them, and then use them as some kind of force for something? I mean, who would we know that would do that? Well, the answer, of course, is Talon. They like to collect people with skills for their own nefarious purposes. But before I explain that one, look at her eyes. This, I think, is very cool. She has, obviously, an eye. I know, shocking observational skills by me. But around her eyes are these 6 white dot/lines. Now, where have we seen that before? It's the symbol of the people that shut down Sombra in her video introducing her backstory. It's exactly the same kind of symbol, and I don't think it's a coincidence. I would hazard a guess that Effie's parents have something to do with that organization, and that's why she has that kind of markings. Because you'd think if you've got this ultra genius robotics daughter, and you live in Nubani, a city of these really forward scientific individuals, this city of seeming paradise where Omnics live hand in hand with humans, that is the perfect city for some behind-the-scenes secret organization controlling the world corruption to be going on, because it seems like the one place that it wouldn't be. So what if this eye organization is secretly based in Numbani, Effie's parents have something to do with it, and as far as Effie knows, it's just some kind of family symbol, and that's why she's got it round her eyes. I think that is something definitely worth thinking about. But if we look at the web that Sombra shows, the eye symbol is connected to the Numbani flag. Alright, good so far, that reinforces that. And then what does help the sort of tanky theory is that the Numbani flag is connected to a sort of tank mech-esque looking blueprint thing. And then that is then connected to the Doomfist. But I think people are looking too much into this. I think they're seeing, Numbani, Spider-Mech blueprints, Effie's gonna build it, okay, still, that's what's gonna go on, she's gonna be controlling it, cool. But it's connected to the Doomfist. Where do we know that there is both the four-legged, tanky-looking mechs and the Doomfist? Numbani Museum, we see it in the opening cinematic. This could literally just be saying what kind of tech and equipment has Numbani got squirreled away, and is nothing to do with Effie. I think that that is definitely the more reasonable conclusion to draw, and the reason that I think that is if I take it back to what I just said about Talon. They tend to recruit or forcibly kidnap people that they see as a benefit to them. What would be a benefit to them? Forcibly kidnapping an 11-year-old robotics genius and forcing her through fear, because she's only a child, to build incredibly dangerous, powerful, deadly mechs for you to use in your missions and your wider operations in the world. That seems like a solid plan if I was Talon. How hard could it be to kidnap an 11-year-old girl? But you'd need an opportunity. Where would that opportunity come from? Well, this is the thing that I think people are missing. The final bit of the interview, almost a throwaway line. No hint? It's a secret for now, but my parents are taking me on a trip to celebrate. That's how I imagine she talks, I don't know. It'll be my first time flying, so I can't wait. Effie and her parents are going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship to celebrate her award. And if Talon have that information, and they have Sombra, so they clearly know it's going to happen, Sombra knows everything, and they infiltrate that plane in order to kidnap her, one of two things can happen. Either she does get kidnapped and Iron Man's her way out of custody with a mech that she builds, but I don't think that'll happen. Or the operation is a failure on the plane, they don't kidnap her, but the collateral damage is bye-bye parents, and we have one of those classic parents are dead origin stories, and we end up with Effie surviving and creating a robot that she wants to fight Talon with, joins the Overwatch team, because this takes place in present day. This interview, she exists after Winston has started Overwatch going again, and she wants to make the world a better place. And if she gets this rude awakening when she's 11, sees this evil organization Reaper ghost onto her plane and literally murder her parents, she is going to suddenly get the inspiration of, I want to build robotics to make the world a better place. What better way than to build something to smash Talon? And it's very likely that the plan, the mission, the attempt of infiltrating Numbani and kidnapping this robotics genius for nefarious purposes is actually underway. The fact that there's been some mysterious OR-15s destroyed in the airport of all places, and obviously airport, you know, plane, she's going on a trip, that kind of makes a lot of sense, you know, maybe they're preparing, maybe they were scoping out the area, and they didn't expect the OR-15s to run into them, and they accidentally got caught, and they got in a fight that they didn't want, and now they've drawn attention to the area. You know, this kind of makes sense. Imagine if Widowmaker was skulking around the airport trying to plan this operation, and she accidentally bumped into an OR-15 and got into an altercation. Now, a lot of people will probably think that because of the crater in the wall and the impact, that kind of looks like Doomfist Gauntlet explosion, but again, we've had confirmation Doomfist is not involved in this entire entire thing that's going on, so it can't be that. So it's got to be someone that could kind of create this sort of impact in the wall. So I have a feeling that perhaps this entire time there's a chance that everything I'm saying is not actually going to happen, which is obviously true with theories, but maybe the new hero is actually a new Talon operative with this kind of firepower that could actually put a robot in the wall, and the new tank, air quotes, is actually a big, heavy Talon Bruiser character that we're going to get introduced to. That would be a cool curveball if the whole everything doesn't pan out the way that I think that it could definitely do. But either way, we also could go with the route that she sees these OR-15s destroyed, and after everything happens to her, she sees that she's got a lot of room for improvement on them and takes one and super builds it into quite the offensive powerhouse that can tank all day, all night. So there's a lot of routes that could happen now that we've had this altercation in the airport. Hell, even the fact that Sombra is connected to this eye symbol, which is probably connected to Effie, supports this Talon mission, because obviously she's working as part of Talon, so Sombra would be able to provide the information of the best way to go about acquiring Effie for nefarious purposes. It kind of makes a lot of sense. She gets taken under the wing by an Overwatch agent, now an orphan, and she uses her talent for, air quotes, good, defending the world. That gives her the inspiration to do so. I think if we ever got a cinematic on her, it would be that attack on the plane to kidnap her, because that just makes sense. And I think that would give her the reason to be part of it. But I still don't think she's just going to straight up build a tanky insect mech. I think what she will be is almost multiple heroes in one, almost like a summoner, because that would be badass. She sits in the spawn room of the team that she is on, and she teleports to the next ones as it moves up, so that covers that. She doesn't actually fight herself, but she is present on the battlefield, and when you are in spawn, you can either choose to send out, let's say, assault mech or defense mech, something along those lines. Maybe not a mech, robot more accurately. I don't know why I keep calling them mechs, if I'm honest with you. And then that robot that she created goes out into the field, has its own couple of abilities, its own ulti, and can do what it wants. Then when it gets blown up, when it dies, you go back to you as Effie in the spawn, and you choose to either send out another assault robot or a defense robot, and then the defense robot can act like Ryan and do that defensive stuff for your team. And that would be pretty cool. I mean, obviously, it's way too early to go into what I think the actual moves that she'd have would be, but imagine this has all happened to her, her story is set, and you can choose what tools you send into the field via which of her robot creations you choose to deploy, and you keep having this variety mix-up coming from this one summoner-esque character. How badass would that be in a Overwatch game? I think that would be incredible, and it really ties back to the simple, I made different robots for different shores, now I am making different robots for different battle conditions in an Overwatch fight because of what's happened to me. I think it would be a really poetic way to take the character, especially under Winston's wing. If they helped each other tech-wise, even Torbjorn getting involved, I could definitely see Overwatch putting their wing out and taking in this Talon-orphaned genius robotics girl and really helping her almost get revenge. I think it would be really cool, and that's if they do want to go that dark. You know, knowing Blizzard, it's just gonna straight up be, yo, I'm Winston, I'm calling you up, Effie, you wanna make some robots for Overwatch, come pilot them in the field, cool. And that's fine if that happens. I guess it's simple, maybe I'm overcomplicating it, who knows, but it's fun to speculate, isn't it? Talking of speculation, the one really dark one that I do like, but probably won't happen, instead of her parents dying in said raid, Effie herself dies, but her brain is then transferred into one of her robots. That's how it speaks like her and operates on the battlefield. In a parent's desperate attempt to save some part of their daughter, they transfer her in an experimental process, mind into another robot. How dark would that be? Hell, it could even be Mercy's latest, air quotes, way of saving someone. But yeah, they are my thoughts on her, how she relates to a new hero, what kind of things she'd be doing, and I hope you have enjoyed listening to my ramblings. Yes, indeed. The other thought I do have, if I absolutely had to tie it to this air quotes Ancora, is that as it's apparently a spidery omnic, and Numbani is a city where humans live in harmony with Omnics, I would say that Effie probably knows one that is keen to get involved in the fight, and through a lot of convincing asks Effie to almost upgrade her for some sort of battle so she can get involved in the field, whether it's with Overwatch or something, and they kind of work together as an almost partnership. Maybe you can hear Effie's voice in her comms while playing as her, and they kind of work in tandem together. That could have been kind of nice, and it would show some more unity between the Omnics and the humans. So at the outside chance, Ancora could end up literally being just the name of an Omnic that Effie befriends and almost straight up upgrades. I actually could see that being kind of neat. But yeah, either way, my name has been Rage. Like you've enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.